to my live on Wednesday afternoon. So looking forward to sharing with you this fabulous suite. There's just so many. It is a masculine suite, but there's absolutely so much you can do with it that I can't wait to share with you some different ideas on what to do with it. So I hope you're all well, and we might as well just get started. So let's flick over to the desktop and we will get going. Let me just make sure we are rocking and rolling. And let's have a look. Yes, yes indeed, that's fantastic. Okay, make sure I put everything on mute. I don't want, okay, perfect. So ready to ride. As you can see, I've got the page open, totally gorgeous set with so many options, and the colors, the grey, the black and the pumpkin pie, just really go so well together. But there are options in here where you can actually create more feminine cards, which I will share with you today as well. And this is so it takes up 2 pages. You've got an embossing folder, you've got some embellishments which I don't actually have to share with you, but you do have the dies, and I'm going to show you step by step how to create the motorbike. And let me just show you some of the items that I do have here. So I have got the embossing folder, which creates this gorgeous sort of what would the word be, tin sort of pressed metal, if you want to use it on, which I have used it on some silver foil. And these are the dies to make up, well there's extras as well, but to make up the die cut motorbike. So it's like punch out, I guess. So punch up with dies to create the motorbike. This is the stamp set that you have, and there is quite a few different things in there. So I think the font actually is fantastic, the different fonts for the men. And Dad, you're the coolest, isn't that great? So yes, some great options, but of course you can use sentiments from other sets as well. Okay, I have not got much of the designer series paper left, I must admit, but you have one side, like this one, which has got the beautiful flowers on it, that's got the shiny embossed looking side, and then the more flat side with different elements. Now this one though, and you can see once again I've used quite a few, has different areas that you can cut out and use them separately on the back of this one here. So lots and lots to choose from, and these be great for making like a memories and more type project. And this is the more matte side. Okay, so let me show you. I have actually done, oh, and I'll just grab it, I've left it over here. Typical. Took a photo of it and then I left it behind. So this is what we're going to use to create the motorbike. So I've done this, and I've got this, we're going to have this on my blog post, step by step how to create this motorbike. So this is the first step. You just cut the basic motorbike out of black. Then you've got the chrome wheels that you put on, and then the tires. This is the body, the chrome elements of the bike, and these are the hubcaps, the mud flaps and the seat, and you just put it all together and it looks fantastic. I've used on this one, so in the foils you've got the silver foils, and you've got the dark silver foil as well as the light silver foil. I thought that was great for the engine area, and I'm using this colour even though it is with the suite, so I thought I'd use that colour anyway, the pumpkin pie. Well, actually this is Mango Melody, but I actually had, when I was 18, I owned a motorbike, and it was a Honda 504, great big thing. Everyone told me I looked like a peanut on a pumpkin, and and it was orange, so I thought I needed to make it orange to match. So hello everybody out there, do say hi, love having you along. And we will get started first on putting this motorbike together. Okay, so I just love to know that you're out there. So it's always nice when people say hi. Otherwise, you do feel like you're just chatting away to yourself. Okay, these are all the elements. So let's start off. I'm going to pop. Now I wanted to share when I remember to use it, of course, the adhesive sheets. These are fantastic for die cutting out and having the sticky on the back so that you do not have to put glue on and get glue everywhere, which I'm liable to do. And it's just easy. You just peel off. I'll just show you. You just peel off and stick to the back. That's sticky, that side there. And once you die cut it, the other layer comes off really easy, as you can see, and the other one remains sticky on the back. Okay, let's start off with these hubcaps. Hi, Jenny. You were crafting while watching. Oh, and what are you using? What are you using today to craft with? Okay, probably if I just try and take some of this backing off, that might help. This is the pick tool, and I just would be so lost without this. Dainty Delights. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? That set is just, I just love the papers in Celebration. If you haven't seen those Celebration papers, they are just beautiful works of art, I think. Okay, just get these little bits off because it's sticky. Okay, so let's pop this on, and it's all sticky on the back, which just, gosh, it's just so nice not to have to fiddle around with bits of glue. And we will do this one. Okay, once again, just take that off. And so as you peel it off, it just takes most of it out. Very easy. You can't actually, I tried to separate it before I die cut it, and it's actually very difficult to die cut it. But once you've used it through the cut and emboss machine and die cut, the backing does stay on the element. And of course, because there's stickiness on all of this, it's getting all over my fingers. So yes, as I say, I had a motorbike, and back then, I think it's still the same now, you had to, before you could drive something that was, or ride something that was as big as a 500, you had to have been driving for a year or so. You had to drive something 250 or less, I think. So the other way around that was to go to defensive driving school, and I used to rock up. I had to go early because the instructor said he didn't want to see me on my bike because, you know, he didn't want to know that I was driving something bigger. But once I was there, I was allowed to drive my 504, and all the guys, I was the only girl, all the guys there, they had their little tiny wee bikes, and we used to go on these little exercises, and they'd be waiting for me to drop my bike, which I never did, luckily. But it was very, very interesting. They did not like the fact that this girl, and I'm only 5'3" at a stretch, driving this great big thing and could handle it without dropping it. So always liked that, I must admit. But I did like riding it as well. It was a great machine. Okay, so this is the tie rims. You can see I just used glue on that, and no matter how little you put on, it always seems to come out, doesn't it? Okay, so this is the body, and as I say, I've used that darker foil, which comes in this set here, where you get the different shades and shiny and matte. It's quite great actually having all the dark and the light silvers. So I thought this contrast would be fantastic. Okay. Let's also do the same with this, just peel it off and hopefully most of the backing. So the next thing I'm going to do is pop the chrome on top of the body before I then put that on to the motorbike, just so I get it in the right place. It's a little bit fiddly, but just love how these dies create this fabulous 3D motorbike that you can, oops, everything is sticky. So that's just going to go over the body. The tyre goes over there. Now this, oops. It's quite obvious when you look at this. I don't know if you can see. You can see the die actually cuts out or embosses at the same time as it dies. So you can actually see where this needs to go, which is fantastic. There we go. And then that is going to go on the motorbike. Just line it up. Now you could, if you wanted to, cut the top of this out to get a black handlebar, if you know what I mean. You could just cut out that tiny section and glue if you wanted to get really get it really exact. There we go. Okay, and so we're going to pop the seat on, and I've lost my other mudguard. Well, it's around here somewhere. Okay. So pop the seat. So if you've got tweezers, that would be a good thing to use. And then you have your mudguards. And it is done. As easy as that. You could leave that chrome if you wanted to. I thought I'd stick these on. So having the adhesive backing on there really helps actually. The first time I did it, I put glue on that chrome thing and I did end up with glue everywhere. Okay, there we go. So let's set that aside. I promise you that's the hardest or the most fiddly part. Next I'm going to just stamp. Now a little technique, I'm going to use the Stamparatus. If you don't want to get your the whole stamp, instead of cutting the stamp, if you want to just have a portion of your stamp, you can just mount it like this. And I like to do this sort of thing on the Stamparatus only because if I don't get it perfect, I can do it again. So I'm using the paintbrush end of my Stampin' Right, and this is black. So there we go. And just going to stamp that. And these sticky back pieces everywhere. You might just ignore those. See, so that's not quite as dark as I want it, so I'm going to just do it again. So this is one of the fantastic things about the Stamparatus There's so many. I should do a class on just all the fantastic things you can do with Stamparatus, I think. Right. It's your birthday. There we go. And the other thing I wanted to do with this now is stamp with the, oh my goodness. There's some grass here. I'm just going to stamp with that, and I'm going to just stamp a lot along the bottom in crumb cake. Now this is just like a little mound of dirt with some bushes growing out of it, or a bit of tuft of bush. So I'm just going to do it so on an angle, so that maybe not so much of that bush will come out. And just giving it some ground really, because I like to have things a little bit grounded. There we go. Not that it's really a dirt bike, but it's still good to give something on the background, isn't it? Okay, so let's grab my blending brush. This is one of the new minis. Oh, cheese got stuck. I'm just going to add, I'm not going to do any blending all the way around. I'm just going to add a little bit to this dirt. Love these cute little brushes. Perfect for when you just want to do a little bit of blending like this. So I've got Very Vanilla. I'm just using some Very Vanilla cardstock. Right. So now let me grab my dimensionals. And we're going to pop our motorbike up. And one there. So I've got some other ideas here as well that I'll show you. And of course with this, it's always good if you can have a suite or a set that is super versatile. And this suite is actually got options for more feminine cards. So share that with you as well. Right. Let's pop this motorbike on. There we go. Okay. Right, and I forgot to do a little bit of, it's all right, do some now. I've just got my blender pen and dark crumb cake. Just going to add, this is, well loved this pen, look, it's got a bit, but it still works for this. Obviously if you don't want your pens to get too ruined, but I love that effect, so I'm happy to use them. Right, I'm going to use a basic black card base, and I am going to add this designer series paper, and just thought it was, make sure I get it up the right way, with the bikes in the background. That was perfect. And this is Very Vanilla also, so hence why I use Very Vanilla on the front. Okay, and I'm going to pop this on here. Now from the Journey suite, there is some twine that was perfect for this. So it comes in this bag here, 3 twine combo pack. It's Coastal Cabana and what's that one? Garden Green, and this one is Pumpkin Pie. So I have got one more thing to put on here. I think something's missing. This is using the embossing folder, and I'm going to pop that there. Sometimes forget that you can emboss foil like this. Okay, and that is going to go like so. But I'm going to tie a knot. I'll just show you something else you can do with this as well. I'm going to use it full for this, but if you are wanting to use it not so thick, because they have given it to us quite thick, you can actually divide the strands up and then take it down to how thin you want it if you're wanting to have something that's not quite so thick. So super way to get the most out of your twine. Okay. Normally I would just cut that at the back, but it's not a very big space, so I'm going to just use that. Got sticky fingers, so I don't think I will cut it because it's easier to do it that way. Tie a knot. So if anyone lives in the North Shore or area that I live in New Zealand, Auckland, starting some class, a beginner's class in Silverdale at the Plant Barn, such a lovely spot there. And I also have, so I have 2 classes a month now, one for beginners and one for people that have, well, anyone can come to my standard class, but I just really wanted to offer a class for beginners as well, so they could come along and give it a go. We all started somewhere. I always remember when I first started, I must admit, I was just knew straight away it was something I was going to absolutely love. And here I am now doing a live and artisan for Stampin' Up. So you just don't know when you give something a go where it is going to lead you, I would have to say. I love, crafting or card making, that sort of thing, because you end up with something that you can gift or give away to someone, which I always like, that it's something useful, something that you can share. Right, let's take off the backing. I've used some of it to keep that twine down. So this, as you can see, is definitely a masculine card with that motorbike. Okay, I'm going to trim that down a little bit. And of course, no card is really complete without a couple of embellishments. Now, I don't always put it on masculine cards, I must admit, but I thought I would just add these here as sort of nail heads. So I'm going to put one in each corner. And there we go. And that is the card. It's your birthday, and it's got this fabulous motorbike on the front. I've just stamped the smaller bike on the inside, but I think that is just not too difficult to make. The only thing is, of course, creating that bike by putting together all those die bits, but really it is quite easy. This is another one that I've done. This is also using the Stamparatus, and this is stamping with the stamp full strength and then moving it along one hinge and giving that real sense of movement on the front. So it looks as though the bike is racing away there. And this is one using one of those cards. This is the one I did for the Stampin' Fancy Friday, which is past artisans and stuff. We put something out each month, and I created this. It was a sketch design. Always a fantastic place to start when you are doing cards, if you've got a sketch. And this is the more feminine card. The one of the squares that you cut out has these beautiful roses, and some of the black shimmery paper does too. So perfect for making that gorgeous, more feminine card. It's a little bit different. Oh, excuse me. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you give that a go. And yeah, make sure you check out this amazing suite. And if you're wanting to join a in-person class, make sure you look me up, and I'd love to have you along. So take care, everybody, and I will see you next week.